Imagine this. It's past midnight. Your neighborhood is silent. Then you hear a knock at the door. A voice calls your name. It sounds familiar, almost comforting, like someone you trust. But what if opening that door meant you would never be seen again? Tonight, let us explore one of India's most chilling and clever urban legends. A story where fear was defeated not by weapons or prayers, but by two simple words written on the door. This is the legend of Nale Ba. One of the most unsettling things about this legend is where it comes from. The story originates in the Indian state of Karnataka, specifically its capital city, Bangalore. For thousands of years, there were beliefs, rituals, fears, and folklore layered on top of one another. Compared to regions of the world whose cultures are still relatively young, the collective memory of a place like Karnataka is immense. And in places where ancient traditions coexist with modern life, stories don't die easily, they evolve. In the quiet villages of Karnataka, where narrow streets wind between modest homes, life once followed a predictable rhythm. Families slept early, doors were closed tightly after sunset, and the night belonged to the unknown. It was in these villages that unsettling stories began to spread. Villagers spoke of a mysterious figure roaming the streets after dark. A woman, a witch. She didn't break doors down. She didn't scream or attack. Instead, she knocked. This witch was said to possess a terrifying ability. She could perfectly mimic the voice of someone you loved. A mother calling her child, a husband asking to be let in, a familiar voice saying your name in the dark. To the people inside, it sounded real, safe, human. Those who opened the door believed they were helping a loved one. But according to the legend, they were never seen again. No screams, no sign of struggle, just empty homes and doors left open. As fear spread, people began asking the same question. Who was she? One of the most common versions of the legend claims the witch was once a bride, a woman who died tragically on the very day she was meant to be married. Betrayed, heartbroken, robbed of a future she never got to live. In death, she returned as a restless spirit, cursed to wander the night, luring others the same way fate had once deceived her. In other versions, she was a wronged woman, a grieving mother, or a spirit born from injustice. The details changed, but the fear stayed the same. Stories traveled fast. Entire families were said to vanish overnight. Villages whispered about homes that went silent. People stopped answering doors after dark. Children were warned never to respond to voices outside. Even skeptics felt uneasy when night fell. The fear wasn't just supernatural, it was psychological. Because the witch didn't sound like a monster. She sounded like someone you loved. Then came a turning point. According to the legend, one night an elderly man, known for his wisdom and understanding of folklore, proposed something unusual. He believed the witch followed a routine. She came every night, expecting someone to answer. So what if she could be delayed? He told the villagers to write two words on their doors, Nale Ba. In Kannada, it means come tomorrow. The idea was simple and strangely clever. If the witch read the words, she would obey. She would leave and return the next night, only to be told the same thing again. An endless loop. At first, villagers were skeptical, but fear leaves little room for doubt. That night, doors across the village were marked with white chalk, and something incredible happened. The knocking stopped. Night after night, the witch was said to return, see the words, and leave. Nale Ba became more than a phrase. It became a protective ritual. Soon it appeared on doors across Karnataka, sometimes alongside turmeric marks, symbols, or charms. Fear turned into folklore, and folklore turned into unity. As Bangalore grew into a modern city, the legend didn't disappear, it adapted. Urban neighborhoods shared the story. Children dared each other to knock late at night. Adults joked about it, but still locked their doors. Even decades later, some people swear they heard knocks and voices that felt just a little too real. Nale Ba isn't just a ghost story, it reflects something deeply human: fear of the unknown, trust versus instinct, and the need to feel in control when logic fails. Instead of fighting the monster, people reasoned with it and won. So perhaps the most frightening part of the Nale Ba legend isn't the witch herself. It's the fact that she was never defeated. She wasn't banished, she wasn't destroyed, she was only delayed. And night after night, she returned. Night after night, she read the same words. And night after night, she left, promising to come back tomorrow. In a way, Nale Ba still lingers, not as a spirit in the streets, but as an idea, a reminder that fear doesn't always announce itself with screams or violence. Sometimes it sounds like someone you trust, standing just outside your door. Today the chalk has faded, the doors are metal, the cities are louder, but the instinct remains. The hesitation before opening the door at night, the pause when a familiar voice feels slightly wrong. Because legends like Nale Ba don't survive for decades by accident. They survive because they reflect something real: our fear of being deceived, and our need to feel safe, and hope that a simple ritual might protect us from what we don't understand. The question is, if you hear a knock at night, and a voice you recognize asks to be let in, will you open the door, or will you quietly tell it to come back tomorrow?